Welcome to Tiger Tracks, your home for the best of LSU athletics. And now, your hosts, Jordy Holtberg and Bill Frankes.
Hello, Tiger fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Tiger Tracks. He is Bill Frankes. I'm Jordy Holtberg. Great to be with you. And spring football is in the air. Recapping, closing up the spring campaign. We've got lots to talk about spring football today on the show.
Absolutely. The spring football practice culminates with the spring game on Saturday, a 3 o'clock kickoff in Tiger Stadium. Admission is absolutely free, so we're looking forward to some good weather. Come out and watch the Tigers finish up their spring practice. Looking forward to a great 2016 season. A lot of early projections have the Tigers ranked pretty high, so we're looking for an outstanding season in 2016. It'll be your first peek at the Tigers on Saturday at 3 o'clock.
We'll take you behind the scenes. Verge Ausberry will join us, the former Tiger football player, now part of the athletic administration, and he will join us to talk about this football team, the personnel, the new additions on the coaching staff, how it's all coming into fold.
Yeah, just so many wonderful things happening around the LSU football program. There's the new coaches, Dave Aranda, Jabbar Jalouk, Damian Craig. There's new construction going on at the football complex. So a lot of excitement surrounding LSU football, all leading up to that season opener in Lambeau Field in Green Bay against Wisconsin.
The Cheeseheads, and so much more. So busy baseball schedule, softball schedule, gymnastics is about ready to venture into the NCAA Super Six. So lots to talk about. But when we return, we'll get the latest update. LSU spring football. That's what you want. That's what you're going to get next here on Tiger Tracks. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. We begin with a spring football update. Of course, the spring game will be Saturday at 3 o'clock, free and open to the public. And I think everybody wants to see a couple of things. One, what's Dave Aranda's defense going to look like? Number two, is there going to be some new innovation and creativity along the offensive front?
Well, exactly. And, of course, LSU returning 18 starters total on both sides of the ball. Brandon Harris, it appears, is having a great spring. Danny Etling is providing some competition at the quarterback position. The offensive line may endure some changes, a little bit of shuffling to replace Vidal Alexander and Gerald Hawkins, who have moved on to the NFL. And then, of course, defensively, what kind of scheme will Dave Aranda employ, and how will his schemes fit LSU's personnel?
With that in mind, here's an update on LSU spring football.
Coming off the 7th bowl victory under Coach Les Miles, the LSU Tigers welcome back a veteran group of letter winners for the 2016 season. Spring football is underway for the 12th time under Miles at the Charles McClendon Complex. The Tigers are looking to improve on an offense that led the Southeastern Conference in rushing with more than 250 yards per game and averaged 32 points per contest. On offense, Leonard Fournette returns for his junior campaign after leading the nation in rushing yards per game with 162. The consensus first-team All-American set the school record with 22 touchdowns in a single season and is already LSU's fourth leading rusher all time. The rushing attack also features Darrell Williams, back for his junior season with almost 600 yards and 7 touchdowns in his career. All-SEC freshman team member Darius Geis is poised for a big sophomore season after making jaw-dropping runs and averaging over 8 yards per carry as a rookie. At quarterback, Brandon Harris returns for his second season as the starter after throwing for 2,100 yards and 13 touchdowns in 2015. The 6'3" junior was the fourth leading rusher last fall, running for 226 yards and 4 touchdowns. Harris has a multitude of targets returning at wide receiver to throw to, including his top 2 wideouts in Malachi Dupree and Trayvon Doral. Dupree led all receivers in catches, yards, and touchdowns in 2015, hauling 6 passes into the end zone. Now a junior, the 6'3" Dupree has averaged better than 17 yards per catch in his career and looks to lead the passing attack to new heights. Trayvon Doral is back for a redshirt senior season after suffering an injury in the Ole Miss game. Doral is LSU's most accomplished wideout, counting 12 touchdowns and almost 1,500 yards receiving in his career. Colin Jeter heads up a talented group of tight ends after catching 12 passes for 132 yards and a touchdown in 2015. The offensive line welcomes back veterans on both sides of center Ethan Posick, who underwent off-season hip surgery. The O-line looks to be a strength once again for coordinator Cam Cameron, who's entering his 4th season in Baton Rouge. On defense, LSU hired Dave Aranda away from next year's first opponent, the Wisconsin Badgers. Aranda's defense led the nation last season, allowing just 13 points per game and puts pressure on opposing quarterbacks. The California native has worked closely with the returning starters, preparing them for a challenging 2016. 4 draft-eligible underclassmen on the Tiger defense chose to return for their senior seasons rather than pursuing the NFL. 6'2", 250-pound linebacker Kendall Beckwith was the second leading tackler for LSU last year and has 14.5 tackles for loss in his career. Starting defensive end Lewis Neal is back after finishing 6th overall in the SEC with 8 sacks as a junior. Neal has played in 34 games since 2013 and will be counted on to stop the run and get in the backfield in his final season. Fellow senior Christian Lockature will anchor the defensive line along with Devon Godshaw. The 6'5", 305-pound Lockature has started 23 games and helped the 2014 LSU defense lead the SEC in fewest yards allowed. In the secondary, number 18, Trey White chose another year with the Tigers after major overtures by the NFL. White was an All-SEC selection last season and has started 34 of LSU's last 36 games. The Tigers now ready for the National L Club Spring Game, hosted in Death Valley on Saturday, April 16th at 3 p.m. The game will be broadcast on the SEC Network as well as the LSU Sports Radio Network. For more information on LSU football, log on to lsusports.net. Reporting for Tiger Tracks, I'm Garrett Walbert.
Thank you, Garrett, very much. Now, if you can't be in attendance at Tiger Stadium, the SEC Network will be broadcasting the spring game. Marcus Spears will be there, former LSU Tiger. So we urge you to be there, but if you can't, there's another alternative.
Absolutely. But Marcus Spears, it's amazing how many former LSU Tigers, like yourself, have moved into the broadcasting field. Marcus Spears and Booger McFarland have been very prominent in the SEC
Baseball,
Network.
though.
Exactly.
Todd Walker, Ben McDonald.
Exactly.
Basketball.
So, exactly.
I'm ready.
But it should be fun. Spring game, 3 o'clock kickoff. We're looking forward to it. It should be a very, very exciting 2016 season.
We'll take a timeout. We'll keep the theme on football. Verge Ausberry will join us in studio when we return. Welcome back to Tiger Tracks alongside Bill Franquez. I'm Jordy Helperg. We welcome in Verge Ausberry, former LSU Tiger football player, now Deputy Director of Athletics. Looking great, buddy. How are you?
Thanks, Jordan. Doing well.
Everything's great. We just came
here.
off the spring football, and we'll see the spring football game Saturday. And then all eyes focus on the Great North with Lambeau Field in Wisconsin. What an exciting trip that's going to – one of the more exciting trips I can recall for LSU football.
I'm going to call you for tickets, in fact. That's how many requests we've had for him, Jordy.
Come on. I'm ready.
It's just a great venue to play a football game, and we have the opportunity to be one of the first major college football programs to play in that venue. When we were working on that contract, we were talking about let's do one in Houston with Wisconsin. And we're going to replay the game where we're going to play it at. And Lambeau Field came up. And it was just excitement went through all our building when we decided to play this game.
It's awesome.
Jordy and Verge, what does it mean as a student athlete to be able to play in that type of venue? How much excitement do you think it will create within the locker room to know that these guys will be playing on an NFL field?
You know, we talk about LSU being one of the best athletic departments in the country, and also our university, promoting our university. We talked about that brand, that LSU brand. And to the young men, to the young players around the country who see us play, we play in Cowboy Stadium, we play in Reliant, we play in major venues, NFL venues around the country. And also you have that Tiger Stadium, which is the best venue of all to play in. It gives you that opportunity when you go out to recruits like, look, this is where we're going to play 7 of our best games in the best stadium in the country. You play a great SEC schedule, and you have one major game against somebody around the country in a major NFL venue. And what's best in Lambeau Field? You get all that national attention on you, your institution, and for the athletic department.
It ranks right up there. I remember going out to the Coliseum in L.A.
That's right.
I remember playing at Notre Dame, big to do, and now Jerry's World, and now this. It's terrific. Closer to home, Dave Aranda, new defensive coordinator. I know you've had a chance to talk to him. He takes that cerebral approach to the game. How comfortable do you feel with what he's bringing to the table?
We've been watching Dave for a long time. He's been watch his teams and he didn't have as much talent at Wisconsin that
Coming from Wisconsin.
Than we had on our defense team. But just how sound they play, fundamentally sound football, great coach, very intense as a coach. He might be quiet, but very intense. But knows the defense, get the players in the right position, know the technique of the players. And you're watching the technique of your football players and watching the teams he had at Wisconsin, their technique. I was just watching them one night playing. I text Joe Lee, I said, Joe, you watching the Wisconsin defense, how sound they are? You're like, yeah, they're pretty good. And that's what you look at when you look at different teams, how they play and the system they play and the type of athletes they have.
Simplified? It's a simple kind of a principle, and let the players go play?
He'll play multiple defenses. I think we'll be starting off pretty much a 3-4, what I played back in the day, trying to get more better athletes on the field. You get that extra linebacker on there. And it's really a hybrid now, that 3-4, 4-3. But that linebacker can do a lot more things than just dropping coverage. It could drop in coverage, confuse the quarterback, but also could be used as blitzes. And you can use two guys off the edge to bring pressure on the quarterback.
There's the ball. Go tackle it.
That's right.
Go get the ball. Go get the ball.
Verge, we all know how LSU has been affected in recent years by the NFL draft. But this year, two key players, Tre'Davious White and Kendall Beckwith, both spurned to the NFL, came back for their senior seasons. How much of an impact does that make, not only on the defense, but on the whole program?
You watch every sport this year, even basketball, you have to have seniors. That's your leadership. And that was the big thing about bringing leadership back on the team. We have a guy, Joe Mendez, that we consult with, works with our NFL players, getting them prepared for the NFL draft and giving them the information. He and Dean Dingman did a great job meeting with the young men, meeting with their families, and making sure these are the positives, these are the negatives, these are the cons, the pros. If you come out, if you stay, this is what he does for you. And we never tell a young man to stay in the school, okay? That's not our job. Our job is to prepare them to make sure that they're ready to go and they have success after they leave LSU.
When they decided to come back, that's to me, that made LSU the #1 recruiting class in the country when those upperclassmen came back.
You recruit your players first.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes. I will take a quick time out. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation with Verge Ausberry, Deputy Director of Athletics at LSU. Quarterbacks, scheduling, new facilities going up, all kind of things happening at the old war school. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay with us.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks on CST. Bill Franquez, I'm Jordy Helper. We'll continue our conversation with Verge Ausberry, Deputy of Athletics with the LSU Athletic Department. And we talked a little bit about defense. Of course, everybody wants to know about the offense, what kind of changes are coming. Let's talk about the quarterback. Shed some light.
Jordy.
Shed some light.
We're going to run the football.
I thought so, yes.
Especially the running backs we have.
Yeah.
Darius Geis is having an excellent spring.
Okay.
You have Leonard Fournette, you have Williams, you get Brissett back from the knee injury. So we're going to be, people want to throw the ball over the field. That doesn't win championships. You have to have a good mixture of what you do, pass and run. And when you pass and when you run, the play calling, those situations. That what makes the championship team. Both of the young quarterbacks look well. Now they're going to be juniors for us. Harris has had a great spring, and he's progressed as we go. I think there'll be a lot of new wrinkles you'll see. I think you'll see a lot of the Geis and Fournette on the field at the same time.
Good.
One thing we did, that Coach Cameron did, and Frank Wilson, when he was here, they recruited big receivers.
Yeah.
In the NFL draft, you might only get one Julio Jones type receiver. But we got a lot of guys 6'4", 6'3". We have one coming in, Drake Davis is going to be coming in from IMG later on this year. All 6'4" guys who can run, big guys. And what that does, their wingspan, their handspan, to make that catch, that ball might be high, they make the quarterback look good.
Absolutely.
Okay? So you have big receivers. We wanted big receivers, those 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" receivers. That's what you're going to see on the field a lot.
Okay. I like that.
And the guy who's going to be working with him, Verge, is one of two new coaches on the offensive side of the ball. Damian Craig will handle the receivers. Jabbar Jalouk, the new running backs coach. those guys certainly will make a big impact as well.
I'll tell you what, Coach Miles made some great hires.
He does.
And
He
great
always
hires,
does.
We have a great staff, and the chemistry among the staff is really good. Damian Craig worked with us before here. He's one of the hot guys in the business. You know, you didn't know you could get it from his alma mater. An opportunity came, and Coach Miles reached out to him and was able to get him as not only a wide receiver coach, but also helped him see the offense side of the ball. You remember, he was a offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator at Auburn.
Right.
Jabbar is the same thing, a great young coach, have a lot of ties and roots in New Orleans. Takes up, he was a protege of Frank Wilson. Frank trained him a lot. So he knows those same areas in New Orleans where we got to get the football players at in the recruiting process.
Expansion of the weight room, nutrition center going up, the beat goes on with the facilities.
Yes, you know, the bids come back from the nutrition center, matter of fact, this week, you know, getting our numbers back and determining, you know, where we're going to build it and how it's going to look. After that, the weight room expansion. Remember, we did the football operations center, we moved in right after Katrina, 2005.
Right.
And during that time, a lot of our opponents have built better and nicer facilities.
Sure.
So it's always time for upgrade. We built the gymnastics facility. DD is one of the best in the country. We have one of the nicest tennis facilities in the country right now, indoor and outdoor courts. So we've done some great things. But as you know, with facilities, you have to keep building. You can't stop. And once you build that facility, you got to do some improvements on it every other year. So we look at all our facilities to see where we need to upgrade at so we can compete and win.
No doubt.
Verge, of course, in recent years, there's been a lot of discussion about the health of football players, the issue of concussions. LSU appears to be on the cutting edge in making sure that if those things do happen, the best possible care is available for our players.
Player safety is very important, Bill, and we have Jack Marucci and his staff. In fact, they had Dr. Hartline in from the NCAA, the doctor of the NCAA in town. We work with our group in Pittsburgh. We look at the movie concussions, those doctors are LSU guys. And we're getting a lot of information. We have a lot of sensors in their helmets to compare the amount of shock that the brain takes within the helmet. So we're on the forefront of that, and we're being used as a study throughout the country. And other trainers and doctors are coming to LSU to figure out what we're doing in that research. And we're working that along with our medical school in New Orleans and those type of things to give our players the most safety. It's not only football, it's other sports. You know, women's soccer has some of the highest rates of concussions than any other sport there is. We had a few basketball players this year had a concussion. So anytime there's a head trauma, how we handle it and how we manage it. It wasn't like when Jordy played, you know, he got 10 concussions and those type of things.
We used to pop salt tablets.
Yeah, salt tablets, that's right.
It's a different world now. Different world.
So the health of the kids are very important, and that's something we take very, very seriously at LSU, and make sure that, you know, anytime there's an injury to the head, it's something that's.
So you got the purple team or the gold team? I got first pick. Give me number 7, and I'll beat you.
I'll take the gold team.
You'll take the gold team. Verge, thanks so much, boy. We really appreciate the time and continued success to you.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right,
it.
Verge Ausberry. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come back with more. This is Tiger Tracks. We're on CST, where you take you inside athletics at LSU.
Tiger Tracks on CST is being brought to you by Capital One Bank, the official bank of all things Louisiana, and by Louisiana Propane Dealers. Get up to $1,200 in rebates on propane accessories. Find out how at louisianapropane.com.
Welcome back to Tiger Tracks. Of course, we just talked about spring football. We'll talk more about baseball, but now it's time to do that university feature where we spotlight those non-athletes who do so many good things around the community and in the classroom. It's the LSU Discover Scholar segment.
Exactly, Jordy. LSU identifies some outstanding undergraduate students as Discover Scholars. These young people are especially exceptional in their fields of study. Now, this young man that we profiled today has picked the right field of study for the state of Louisiana, political communication. Politics, of course, are very prominent in Louisiana. So let's take a look as we profile our LSU Discover Scholar.
When I got to LSU, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I had a wide range of interests, but it wasn't until I met Dr. Searles and took her class that I really started to take political communication seriously and was inspired for my research in political psychology and communication. My name is Chris Handy. I'm a senior majoring in political communication at the Manship School of Mass Communication at Louisiana State University, and I'm an LSU Discover Scholar. My undergraduate research focuses on politics and science issues in hopes that we can depoliticize science issues that have become politicized. We utilized focus groups to test communication methods in hopes that we can take the politics out of science. So we developed 6 news stories and presented them to respondents. We manipulated cues in the stories, including proximity, economics, and health. And after they were presented the stories, they were given response questions asking how likely they would be to support some measure in the legislature regarding the issue. Undergraduate research is important because as an incoming student, sometimes you might feel you don't know your place within the university that you're attending. And undergraduate research allows you to really focus, find a purpose, make connections within the community, and form lasting bonds with professors and your fellow students. It'll also help you hone in all the skills you'll need to graduate. LSU has a wide variety of opportunities for students, and I think that's really what makes LSU special.
Thank you so much. I think it's terrific that you focus in on these kids that are doing so many terrific things in the classroom. I think it's great.
Exactly. LSU consistently is among the top 150 universities in the country in the annual U.S. News and World Report. LSU does a marvelous job, not only in recruiting student athletes, but recruiting students.
Yeah.
The Office of Enrollment Management does a fantastic job in attracting the best possible students, not only from Louisiana, but from around the country and around the world. So we have some amazing young people on campus doing some incredible work.
You will not be at the spring game. You'll be in Columbia, Missouri for another weekend set with the Missouri Tigers. There, anytime you go on the road, anything could happen, right?
Exactly. Missouri has, in particular, one young pitcher, Tanner Houck, who's a legitimate ace. So LSU will have its hands full with Missouri, as you say, on the road, kind of unfamiliar setting. The Tigers have only played there once before, so it'll be all new to these guys.
Natural turf, or they have the Astro, the fake?
They have the grass.
They have the grass.
Last time we were there 3 years ago, it was a natural grass field.
All right, gymnastics coming up. Lots to talk about with that. And shout out to my main man, Smiley Kaufman, in the final round, the final pairing of the Sunday at Augusta in the Masters. What a great experience he had. We talked to him. A lot of lessons to be learned. We'll see him, David Toms, and Andrew Loop at the Zurich Classic coming up later this month.
Well, it's exciting. It's amazing the strides that LSU men's golf has made during Chuck Winstead's tenure. Of course, they won the national championship last year. He's producing very prominent pro players like Smiley Kaufman.
He said it was great first tee. LSU. Everywhere he went, LSU. Yeah. It's awesome. For Bill Frankins, I'm Jordy Heltberg. We'll see you next week on Tiger Track. So long, everybody.